When it comes to solar, money is the first question for most people. While costs have been coming down significantly over the years, it's still a fair concern. Bank loans seem like a good place to turn, since most of our major banks offer loans and subsidies to promote renewable energy, but it's hard to get a good idea of what each bank offers for solar loans without tying yourself into a contract. That's why I've collected all the different offerings from ANZ, BNZ, Westpac and Kiwibank to give you all the info you need to make the best choice for solar. Let's start with BNZ. They offer a generous sustainability loan of up to $80,000 at an interest rate of 1% per annum for a 3-year term. Solar isn't all the loan subsidizes, letting you use it for upgrading your heating and insulation, installing water tanks, or even buying an EV or a plug-in hybrid. In general, the loan is designed to create a sustainable home, not just by doing so with power generation. If the loan isn't paid back over those first 3 years, BNZ's floating home loan rate applies instead of the 1%, which, as far as I could find, was 8.69%, a pretty decent jump from 1. When it comes to the fine print, BNZ do state that a $150 charge will apply for new customers, so keep that in mind if switching over from another bank. The interest rate is the main concern, with 8.69 again being pretty steep, and there only being 3 years of that 1% interest, so keep that in mind. Westpac, on the other hand, offers much less on the surface, with a maximum loan of $50,000 when compared to $80,000, but the 0% interest rate over a 5-year term is most certainly a worthy trade. Just like BNZ, their Greater Choices home loan covers solar, heat pumps, including hot water heat pumps, and electric vehicles, while also including eligible wood burners if you want a cozy fireplace. To qualify for the loan, you need to provide the bank with a quote from an eligible installer of whatever you'll be using the quote for. That same stipulation applies for BNZ and pretty much everyone that we'll be covering in this video. After those first 5 years of interest-free are up, the rate then goes up to 5%, which is much more attractive than BNZ's 8.69%, and they had 1% interest to start off with, so Westpac seeming pretty tempting on the interest side of things. Maybe it's because their names are so similar, but ANZ's Good Energy Home Loan is nigh identical to BNZ's offering. They both offer a maximum of $80,000 and a 1% interest rate over 3 years, as well as all the same offers on what the loan can be used for in terms of upgrading your home and upgrading your car and all that, as well as the requirement of having an eligible installer, one being listed under the Sustainable Energy Association of New Zealand, and for them to provide you with a quote before you receive the loan. One of the only major differences between ANZ and BNZ is that ANZ gives you the choice to move to a special, standard or floating interest rate once your 3-year period of 1% interest is up. ANZ's floating interest rate is currently 8.64%, while the fixed rates change depending on how long you pay the loan back over, being mostly around 7.5%. While more options are definitely good, it does come across like they're obfuscating the rate behind sneaky wording and a wealth of slightly unclear options, so just keep that in mind while you're making your choice. Now, Kiwibank does things a little differently, providing no maximum on the loan. You can borrow as much or as little as you need, and if you borrow over $5,000, Kiwibank will contribute up to $2,000 over 4 years. So to clarify, you get $800 at the end of the first year with the loan, and then at the end of the next 3 years after that, you receive $400. The loan is also specifically for sustainable power, being limited to solar, small-scale hydro, wind or geothermal, compared to the overall home upgrades that the other banks offer. In general, Kiwibank's offering seems to be designed for borrowing comparatively small amounts of money to invest directly into renewable energy. The $2,000 contribution from Kiwibank is a great draw. However, the interest rate is the biggest turnoff, being based on a variable rate of 8.5% per annum. That's another reason to use this loan for smaller amounts of money, I guess. With every major bank in Aotearoa offering loans to help make your home more sustainable, it makes the investment into solar easier to make than ever before. But I'd encourage you to be very careful when it comes to choosing one of these options. Home loans are incredibly difficult to recommend on a large scale, since your home, priorities and income will all dictate which one of these loans will be right for you. The similarities between them can make the decision seem easy, but it only makes the differences between them stand out even more. If you need an expert to help you choose the best option for you, get in touch with one of these banks and try to get a broader understanding than what just one YouTube video can provide. As daunting as a loan and financing might seem on the surface, we genuinely believe that solar is one of the most worthwhile investments you can make for your home. Even outside of those interest-free periods that the banks offer, these interest rates are still smaller than what your payback on your solar panels is likely to be. And if you pay back those loans during their payback periods, especially those that offer 1% or 0% interest, you reap a greater reward, just like you would from any financing. Solar is a steady and reliable investment, one that will, over time, pay for itself. It may take slightly longer to do so with a loan, but since you borrowed that money to begin with, it will cost very little of your money to pay off that loan. Your solar panels will do most of the work for you, and with so many options from these banks, you still get a high degree of flexibility to suit your needs. And once you've made your choice, you'll be happy to hear that Sunshine Solar is approved by the Sustainable Energy Association of New Zealand, making us an eligible supplier and installer for your solar future, no matter what loan you end up settling on. Check out our website at sunshinesolar.co.nz and give us a call if you've got any questions.